What if I told you Moses didn't part the Red Sea, aliens did, and it wasn't a miracle, it was a trap? In 1587 BC, as the rogue planet Nibiru returned, Moses cut a deal with cosmic entities called Archons. The Israelites escaped, but humanity paid the price. This is the truth buried in Sumerian tablets, and why NASA fears Nibiru's next return. As we all know, the ancient Israelites were taken into captivity by the Egyptians around the year 2000 BCE. Eventually, Moses was born. By that time, Moses' Israelite heritage had almost been forgotten. He was, for all practical purposes, considered an Egyptian. He was found in a craft on the River Nile by an Egyptian princess who reared him as her son. When he grew up, Moses became a student of the Egyptian Hermetic mysteries. This Hermetic tradition was the science that was being fed to early cro-magnon intellectuals by Nibiruan Prince Nannar, the prince of magic and sorcery, known in Greek mythology as Hermes, in Egypt as Thoth. The return of Nibiru and Moses deal. The year was around 1587 BCE. Moses was grown and fully adept with the secret mysteries of the pyramids. The planet Nibiru returned to Tiamat's local environment. When planet Nibiru returns to its perihelion, it positions itself directly above our North Pole in line with the polar star Polaris. It sits there for approximately 900 years, it's summertime. Then it leaves, heading far back out towards the Oort cloud where it winters, and where the locals go into a prolonged period of hibernation, there being reptiles and all. A series of cataclysms befell Tiamat as a direct result of Nibiru's proximity during Moses' lifetime. This cyclical series of events always repeats itself every time that Nibiru comes near for summertime. Moses saw an opportunity to free his people from Egyptian domination during this series of cataclysms. Being an adept at the secrets of the galaxy, he sought assistance from an Archon of Destiny. "Please free my people," he implored the Archon. The Archon made a deal with Moses. If Moses would swear allegiance to this Archon promised to help the Israelites escape from Egypt in connection with the series of cataclysms that was already underway. Moses agreed. A polar axis shift occurred. During the displacement, the waters of the Red Sea sloshed about, providing an opportunity for the Israelites to run across the temporarily dry seabed. The pursuing Egyptian army was swamped and drowned when the floodwaters reversed themselves. For further details, you are referred to the books of the late Dr. Emanuel Velikovsky of Princeton University, The Wrong Archon and Dark Ages. However, when the Israelites arrived safely in the Sinai, Moses realized that he'd made a deal with the wrong Archon. As a result of his agreement, this particular Archon had taken control of Earth, Tiamat, by entering into the very nucleus of this planet and ousting the previously reigning Archon. Earth entered a long period of dark ages. By about the year 100 BCE, the Nibiruans realized that Moses had caused an untenable situation on Tiamat. They had to rectify the damage. Since Prince Nannar was their master magician and leader of the Hermetic philosophy that Moses had been privy to, Emperor Anu selected Prince Nannar to head to Tiamat and get on top of the situation. Prince Nannar agreed wholeheartedly because he too realized the gravity of the dilemma on Tiamat. Was Jesus a hybrid alien? He returned and mobilized the Hermetic forces in Egypt. They agreed upon the following plan. They decided to impregnate a Tiamatian cro-magnon female with the sperm of Prince Nannar and create a hybrid Tiamatian Nibiruan female who would be capable of giving birth to a second-generation male hybrid. Mary was born. These circumstances of Mary's birth are mysterious even to modern researchers, but Mary was half Tiamatian and half Nibiruan. As soon as Mary reached puberty, she was whisked off to Giza in Egypt and spent her teenage years being indoctrinated into Hermetic mysteries at the Great Pyramid area. She was informed that her duty in life was to bear a male child, would be 3-4 Nibiruan and 1-4 Tiamatian. Prince Nannar found her an old man named Joseph to be her husband to legitimize the future offspring of this experiment. Mary and Joseph were married, but Joseph didn't know anything about Mary's background in the Hermetic Nibiruan traditions. When Mary was around 20 years old, Prince Nannar materialized here on Tiamat as a Roman soldier. He met Mary at a prearranged time and location and impregnated her with his sperm. Jesus was conceived. When Jesus reached puberty, he was taken to India, where he was fully indoctrinated into the rest of the plot by revolutionary Nibiruan Princess Royal Inanna Lakshmi, the ruler of what is now India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Indochina. At about the age of 30, Jesus returned to Jerusalem. Jesus' mission to free Earth. There were valid reasons for this maneuver by Prince Nannar. He had to have a second-generation hybrid. He couldn't just use any old Tiamatian for his plot. For his scheme to succeed, his Tiamatian infiltrator, in this case Jesus, had to be able to impress other Tiamatians with the power to work miracles. If Jesus had not been a second-generation hybrid, his nerve circuits would have blown up his brain when he attempted to access higher mental levels in his performance of these miracles. The purpose for this plot by Prince Nannar and Emperor Anu was to free the planet Tiamat from our domination by this particular Archon. Jesus was supposed to be the vehicle by which this goal was to be accomplished. Well, Jesus built a coterie of supporters, the 12 apostles, and went to work. But, as luck would have it, the Romans got wind of a conspiracy against the state. They arrested Jesus, crucified him, and that was that. Prince Nannar's scheme had failed. The Archon in question is still in control of Tiamat, and I feel sure that the Nibiruan ruling Council of 12 is not amused. We shall see what happens next. And of course, as we now know after this was first written, the Jesus Christ was, in fact, none other than Apollonius of Tyana. Conclusion: Moses, the Archons, and the failed Nibiruan redemption mission. The story of Moses, the Archons, and the Nibiruans presents a radical reinterpretation of biblical and ancient history, one that intertwines extraterrestrial intervention, cosmic cataclysms, and a millennia-long struggle for Earth's sovereignty. According to this narrative, the events of the Exodus, the birth of Jesus, and even the dark ages of human civilization were not merely acts of divine providence, but the results of interstellar politics, genetic engineering, and failed cosmic diplomacy. Moses and the Archons bargain. Around 1587 BCE, as the rogue planet Nibiru returned to our solar system, its gravitational disturbances triggered a series of cataclysms on Earth, referred to as Tiamat in this context. Moses, a high-ranking initiate of the Egyptian Hermetic mysteries, originally taught by Prince Nannar, Thoth Hermes, recognized an opportunity to free the enslaved Israelites. Seeking divine intervention, Moses struck a deal with an Archon of Destiny, a powerful cosmic entity. In exchange for the Israelites' liberation, Moses pledged allegiance to this Archon, unknowingly inviting a malevolent force into Earth's core. The resulting polar axis shift allowed the Red Sea to part, facilitating the Israelites' escape while drowning the Egyptian army. However, this victory came at a terrible cost. The Archon seized control of Earth, displacing the previous governing force and plunging humanity into an extended dark age of spiritual and intellectual suppression. The Nibiruans' dilemma and the Jesus experiment. By 100 BCE, the ruling Nibiruan Council of 12 recognized that Moses' pact had destabilized Earth's cosmic alignment. To rectify the situation, Emperor Anu dispatched Prince Nannar, the master of Hermetic wisdom, to devise a solution. Their plan: genetic hybridization. The creation of Mary. A human woman was artificially inseminated with Nannar's DNA, producing Mary, a half-human, half-Nibiruan hybrid. The birth of Jesus. When Mary reached maturity, Nannar, disguised as a Roman soldier, impregnated her, ensuring that Jesus would be 75% Nibiruan and 25% human, a genetic ratio necessary to withstand advanced psychic abilities. Training and mission. Jesus was educated in India under Princess Inanna Lakshmi, learning advanced Hermetic techniques before returning to Jerusalem to free humanity from the Archon's grip. Why the mission failed. Jesus' miracles, healing the sick, walking on water, multiplying food, were not divine acts, but advanced Nibiruan psychic technology, accessible only due to his hybrid physiology. His true mission was to break the Archon's hold on Earth's consciousness, but the Roman Empire, perhaps influenced by the Archon itself, uncovered the plot. Jesus was crucified, and the Nibiruan plan collapsed. The aftermath, Earth still in chains. With Jesus' death, the Archon's dominion remained unchallenged. Some theories suggest that Apollonius of Tyana, a later mystic with similar miraculous abilities, may have been a second attempt, but the Archon's control persists to this day. Modern implications. Are we still under Archonic control? This narrative raises disturbing questions. Is human history a battleground between extraterrestrial factions? Are religions like Christianity the remnants of a failed alien liberation project? Does the Archon still manipulate global consciousness, keeping humanity in a state of division and illusion? Final thoughts. A cosmic conspiracy or a warning? Whether one accepts this interpretation or not, the story serves as a metaphor for humanity's struggle against unseen forces of control. It suggests that true freedom requires breaking free from imposed systems, religious, political, or even extraterrestrial. As Nibiru's next return looms, according to some theories, will humanity awaken to its suppressed history, or will we remain pawns in a cosmic game older than civilization itself? What do you think? Is Earth still under Archonic rule, or is this an elaborate myth? Share your thoughts below.